Hello, I'm gonna to talk something about my process book and what we learned from this module. In the first part of our module, we focused on understanding critical design. We learned about the definition of critical design, and through workshops, we collaborated with our partners to engage in various activities that deepened our understanding of this concept. In the first lesson, we were introduced to some outstanding examples of critical design. Our task is to analyze these works to understand the meaning of critical thinking within them. We needed to identify the types of critical thinking used in these projects, the themes they addressed, and how they challenged the existing problems. First project I choose is Matt Haven's Phase State. It examined the convergence of design, technology, and politics, exploring how digital surveillance and data collection impact personal privacy and societal structures. I analyzed it through various aspects such as aesthetics, identity, privacy rights, technology, internet, and government. The next project is called Mitigation of Shock. It is an immersive installation, talks about the future London apartment adapted to the challenge of climate change, such as food insecurity and resource scarcity, to explore how we might live in such conditions. We learned it from environment, famine, future and fiction, and sustainability. Based on our analysis to these projects, we concluded 15 critical cards, each one with a word about critical thinking and the definition we made on it. Then we tried to organize our keywords based on some regulations and clarify them into different categories. In the next part, we learned the LATCH method for organizing information, which categorizes data based on location, alphabet, time, category, and hierarchy. This approach can clarify and structure information, aiding in deepen our understanding of the information gotten from research. It can also support creative outcomes. It helps to integrate design thinking into each step of design process. We used this method to do the workshop, which requires us to classify snacks we brought. During this process, we had some reflection on how to organize the same information using different standards. And we realized that how we classified information determined how the viewers can be accessible to it. And we also had new ideas of deconstruct the snacks, such as crushed cookies, and to observe the new characteristic of them and to create interesting norm of categorization. Next part is about archive. In this part, we can think along these following questions. For what purpose do archive exist? What can be included in an archive? What is important to an archive? How to make critical response to an example of archive? And our learning goals is to understand how an archive is made up and how an archive can be maintained, to participate critically in the power structure behind the archive, and to develop a new idea about the archive and produce some visual results or response to it. Then I chose around 5 or 6 archives from the list provided by our tutors. For each archive, I developed several questions focusing on the aspects such as their visual presentation, the themes they addressed, the objects they include, the target audience of them, and also to look into how they analyze and organize their informations, and how it can be accessible to the audience. Is it easy for people to find specific information in these archives? Then the whole class was separated into 4 small groups and led by the tutors to head a visit at the museums which collected physical archives. We visited the Natural History Museum. The archives in the museum, some of them include hand-drawn illustrations, handwritten scripts, photographs. Photography is the most common research approach used in these physical archives, helping to document and study the materials. I had some reflection after learning from the archives. Firstly, the form of the content in the archive. In common, letters, photos, videos, newspaper cuttings, audio objects can be the elements that collected in the archives. The second point is about the target audience for the specific archive. What is the audience purpose in viewing an archive? The next point is how to organize information. We can organize information in many different ways based on how we want the viewers engage with the information. The final one is a visualization about the archive. What does the archive look like? How to visualize the information. When it comes to conducting the research towards a specific archive, I chose the digital archive of New Museum. And at the very beginning, I learned the way that used in this digital archive to classify information, which depends on the time of the exhibition, the artist, the digital presentation of the format, such as video, audio, and publication. There is a separated category called public search, which allows viewers to directly search for the specific exhibitions they want to learn more about. They can filter information by search for the themes the exhibitions are addressing, the keywords of specific exhibition, and the name of the artists. I drew inspiration from feminist artworks and their exhibition in New Museum's digital archive. I particularly interested into the various materials the artists use, which reveal their personal identity and backgrounds. In the past, many female artists tend to share collective strategies. However, in this archive, there is a shift towards highlighting the individual experience. This approach emphasizes the unique narratives of each artist, rather than generalizing them into shared traumas. I think it's more advanced, and I aimed to explore these materials, help them to address their own ideas and themes through my research, and to create a visual response in a graphic format. Then I wanted to share some examples in my research. The first example is an exhibition where the artist used unique materials and special pigments to portray the outline of her body on the nature surface, like rocks and carvings. The work explores the relationship between nature and the female's body. The project also dives into the theme of motherhood and the connection between femininity and nature. The artist explores how she views herself as a child of nature, seeking a deeper connection with the natural world. Another project is to challenge the dominance of advertising and regulations in urban space, be against the modern societal norms. There are also artists address the labor issues within specific communities, exploring the impact of globalization and capitalism on agricultural workers and workers who work manually. Additionally, there is also a project focused on creating collective healing space for Black women, women from diverse racial groups, advocating for equality in the healthcare system. The last project I want to share is a project that advises the transgender issue. The artists use DIY method and the visualization style of punk to support the fact that people should have diverse face and personality in this world. Then I collected what materials that been used in these works and seek for the similar ones that I can access to. I used the method of rubbing to get their textures. I let the textures to be an element in my visual outcomes, and the format of my outcome would be the posters and sheets with informations. It is a small exhibition that should on a flat surface to present my outcome and the conclusions of my research. The above is the entire presentation. Thank you for listening.